On September 13th, Traxxas launched an exciting new product called the TRX-4M, which is a 1/18th scale crawler. Many people have been waiting for Traxxas to release a mini scale crawler, so it's satisfying to finally get an official reveal. Based on the info we've been given, there's an ample amount of good news and potentially some bad news. In this video, I'll highlight some key details of the new truck, point out the differences between the Bronco and the Defender version, compare the TRX-4M with the popular SCX-24, and see if any components of the new TRX-4M have been used in other Traxxas vehicles in order to assess the reliability. Let's start off by looking at the specs and features of the TRX-4M. I'll avoid covering every minute detail as you are able to look up the specific specs on the Traxxas website. Here are some details of the truck that stood out to me. First off, the truck will be available in-store only on November 11th and online 2 weeks later on the 25th for a price of $150. So for the first 2 weeks, in-store only. Kind of weird, but I like what Traxxas is doing because it's driving sales to local hobby shops, and for a price of $150, sounds like a pretty good deal to me. The TRX-4M will be released in two body styles, a Ford Bronco and a Land Rover Defender. The Bronco will come in red, blue, black, and white. The Defender will come in red, blue, gray, and green. The body is a molded ABS hard body and will have a clipless body mounting system. Usually I don't like hard bodies, but in this case I think it's a good thing because it allows them to utilize a clipless body mounting system. The front and rear axles are spool equipped, which just means that they're locked. The ESC will have 3 modes: sport mode for all-around driving, trail mode with a drag brake, and crawl mode, which applies full brakes the instant the throttle is released and allows you to continue through to reverse without hitting the trigger twice. So the crawl mode will be really good for descending. The truck has a 7mm wheel hex size, which will allow compatibility with SCX-24 wheels. The SCX-24 tires might be slightly too small because of the scale difference, but at least the wheels will fit. The electronics will all be waterproof. The frame is a steel ladder frame, so very similar to the SCX-24, very rigid and scale looking. The battery is mounted in the center for a low center of gravity. Also, the battery is held in by a rubber strap, giving it quicker access compared to some of the competition. The steering angle is 45 degrees. And now for some downsides. The control module is mounted on the rear, which could potentially cause an unwanted rearward weight bias, but I honestly don't think it's going to be that much of an issue. And although expected, it comes with plastic wheels and glued tires. Now, when looking at the specs on the Traxxas website, you'll notice that the numbers are slightly different for the Bronco and Defender. Here are the differences. The Defender is 17mm longer, but has the same exact wheelbase. The Defender is 15 grams heavier. The Defender is 18mm taller. The Bronco has a 2 degrees steeper approach angle. The Bronco has a 7 degrees steeper departure angle. This means that the Bronco will perform slightly better out of the box compared to the Defender, as the Defender is heavier with the weight placed up high and has shallower approach and departure angles. Another thing to consider is that the in real life Bronco has independent front suspension, and the Bronco version of the TRX-4M has a solid front axle. Although these are minute differences, I would recommend the Bronco if you want the potentially better out of the box performance, and the Defender if you're more concerned with having an accurate scale appearance. With the SCX-24 currently being the most popular mini scale crawler on the market, let's quickly compare it with the new TRX-4M. I know there are a lot of other options in the market and some debatably better comparisons to make, but the SCX-24 is the one most people are familiar with. So first off, they're in 2 different scales. The SCX-24 is 1/24th scale, and the TRX-4M is slightly bigger at 1/18th. This could cause issues with parts compatibility, and I know a lot of people have built 1/24th scale custom competition courses that won't work with the larger 1/18th scale TRX-4M. The TRX-4M comes with oil-filled shocks. It is very hard to even find aftermarket shocks for the SCX-24 that will hold oil. The stock undamped shocks of the SCX-24 are one of its biggest performance issues in my opinion. The TRX-4M comes with waterproof electronics out of the box compared to the SCX-24, which does not. Traxxas includes a charger with this mini crawler that is claimed to charge a dead battery in about 25 minutes. Although we don't know the reliability of the Traxxas charger, we do know the charger that comes with the SCX24 is complete junk, commonly breaking down within a few charges and taking up to an hour to charge a dead battery. The price of the Traxxas is one of the things that make it so appealing. Compared to the competition, it seems like you get a lot for the money. Depending on what version of the SCX24 you buy, it costs anywhere between $124 to $160. For $150 with the Traxxas, you get a larger scale vehicle, damped shocks, waterproof electronics, and a fast charger. The TRX-4M uses an electronic drag brake compared to the worm gear used to stop the SCX24, and I don't think that these are going to be that big of a difference, except for the fact that you can turn off the drag brake on the TRX-4M. Although the TRX-4M might look better on paper to a lot of people, the SCX24 has been on the market for years and has already proven itself as a pretty decent little truck. As with any new product, you don't know if you'll end up paying an early adopter tax if you buy the Traxxas before people have had the chance to review it. Finally, as we unfortunately all know with this hobby, it is often the case that out-of-the-box components on RCs can sometimes be completely worthless. One of the worst feelings in the world is to buy a new RC and have a weak component break on the first run, rendering your new RC useless until your replacement part comes in. I personally think that this is unacceptable, but regardless, I did some digging on the components of the TRX-4M to see if they were shared with any other vehicles in the Traxxas lineup in order to assess the potential out-of-the-box reliability. Although I discovered that all of the electronics are new to the TRX-4M, the 2065T servo that's used on the trucks appears to be very similar to the 2065 servo that has poor reliability based on reviews that claim the plastic gears strip easily under stress. From what I can tell, the only difference between these two servos is the single metal main gear of the 2065T. I'm not sure why Traxxas didn't just give the servo full metal gears. If a servo has problems with stripping gears, I can't imagine that switching only one of the gears to metal will fix the issue. Just to be safe, if you plan on picking up a TRX-4M on release day, I would recommend having a replacement servo on hand, preferably one with full metal gears. Although this is expected for any RTR vehicle, the TRX-4M comes with cheap plastic wheels and glued-on tires. As we know based on experience, one of the biggest performance upgrades you can make to an RC crawler are metal beadlock wheels and soft, compound, grippy tires. This isn't a mandatory upgrade by any stretch, but will most likely be a night and day improvement on the truck's performance. In conclusion, the Traxxas TRX-4M looks very promising. It looks like it could have some minor issues out of the box, but on paper and compared to the competition, especially when considering the price, it seems like it'll be a great truck. I am very excited for these to be released and can't wait to get my hands on one. Subscribe if you have an interest in microcrawlers, and thanks for watching.